The movie starts with a farmhouse loomed in the night, cloaked in shadows, its silhouette broken only by a single, brilliant light piercing the darkness. The bright light revealed itself to be a mystical being. When morning came, the farmer woke to find his farm in disarray, frustration overtaking him as he realized someone had spoiled it. Summoning his 3 sons, the farmer tasked them with guarding the farm. Among the sons, John was regarded as lazy, but his older brothers took advantage of his kindness, persuading him to guard the farm alone. John agreed, preparing himself to take on the responsibility. While keeping watch, John heard an eerie voice. Turning around, he was startled to see a large white horse standing behind him. The majestic creature left John in disbelief. He attempted to grab the horse by tying a rope around it, but as the horse began to run, John held on tightly, refusing to let go. The horse, however, lost its balance and fell into a swamp. John, feeling sympathy, helped the horse out. Tears glistened in the horse's eyes, and John, moved by the sight, promised he would never disturb the farmhouse again. The horse thanked him and departed. When John returned home, he heard a sound from the farm once more. Checking the source, he was shocked to find 2 horses chained there. Before he could understand, a voice explained this was a gift for him. Turning around, he saw a tiny horse named Foal, who revealed he was the son of the horse John had saved. Foal explained that his mother was pleased with John's kindness and had sent the gift. Overwhelmed with gratitude, John tried to keep this secret from his father, who had come to investigate. After his father left, John climbed onto Foal, marveling at the horse's incredible speed. Foal let out a sharp whistle, summoning 2 more horses from the stable. John decided to sell the horses at the market, where their beauty stunned everyone. Many offered to buy them, but Foal advised John to sell to an older man. John, however, wanted to sell them to the king. The king, impressed by the horses, took them without payment, dismissing John's request for money. Foal scolded John for not listening to his advice. However, when Foal whistled, the horses returned. They caused the king's carriage to tip over, forcing the king to pay John a hefty price to avoid further embarrassment. The king then offered John a position at court, intending to keep him close to exact revenge. The king's assistant suggested a new challenge for John, capturing a phoenix, a mythical firebird. Believing the task impossible, the king agreed, hoping John would fail. When Foal learned of the task, he warned John of the dangers, but John was determined. Foal guided him to a forest where special nuts, loved by the phoenix, grew. The nuts had the power to make the bird fall asleep. They scattered the nuts, and when the phoenix emerged to eat them, it fainted. However, as John attempted to capture it, the phoenix awoke, setting the island ablaze in its anger. It captured John and Foal, but when John used the last nut, the phoenix fainted again. Despite his chance to capture the bird, John chose to free it. The phoenix, moved by his kindness, gave him a glowing feather as a gift. When John returned to the king, the feather had lost its glow, and the king sentenced him to death. Just as the sentence was about to be carried out, the phoenix appeared, proving John's success. The king, forced to withdraw the punishment, grew angrier and devised another challenge. This time, he tasked John with bringing back a mountain princess. Foal and John traveled to the mountains, where they found the castle encased in thick ice. Using the phoenix feather, they melted the ice, but a flood ensued. Foal saved John as they made their way into the castle, where many sleeping girls lay. The phoenix feather landed near one, revealing her to be the princess. John was captivated by the princess's beauty and conveyed the king's desire to marry her. The princess, unimpressed, challenged the king to retrieve her grandmother's lost ring from the sea. She secretly admired John's bravery and began to like him. When John returned with the princess, the king became suspicious of their bond. The princess set her condition, and the king, anxious, tasked John with retrieving the ring. During the journey, John discovered a massive whale trapped in chains, the very creature that had swallowed the ring. Learning of the whale's plight, John freed it, gaining its gratitude. They return to the princess and see the firebird tied to the king's palace. When John gives the princess the ring, she realizes that he would do anything for her. Meanwhile, the king's servant is using a magnifying glass to observe Foal. Hearing Foal speak, the servant becomes convinced that Foal is some kind of devil. The king, the princess, and others go to capture Foal. The king, who wakes up during this commotion, sees Foal near the princess's window and shoots him. Despite John's efforts to save him, Foal is badly injured. The king declares that John is no longer allowed to serve as the princess's protector and that he will be executed in a few days. Meanwhile, the princess meets Foal and tells him that the king's anger is her fault because she came up with an idea to avoid marriage. She had told the king that to regain his youth, he must bathe in 3 pots. One filled with hot water, the second with chilled water, and the third with boiling milk. The king didn't trust the process, but the princess insisted it would make him young again. The king's servant suggests testing this idea on John first. The princess secretly warns Foal about this and shares an idea to protect John. She tells him that if her grandmother's ring is placed in the first pot, the firebird's feather in the second pot, and a rare life and death flower in the third pot, John might survive. Foal asks about the flower. The princess explains that it grows at the farthest corner of the world, and it will take a long time to get it. However, she believes that Foal's speed will allow him to complete this task quickly. Despite being injured, Foal agrees to go and find the flower. The next morning, the pots are prepared, and the king uses this opportunity to gather an audience. He declares that this will be John's second chance. If he survives, he will be spared. The king pushes John into the first pot. Secretly, the princess drops her grandmother's ring into the pot. Because of the ring's magic, John emerges unharmed and enters the second pot. The firebird, watching from a distance, starts screaming. Its cries awaken the feather, which flies into the second pot just in time. John is then pushed into the third and final pot. Meanwhile, Foal reaches the location of the rare flower. He discovers that whoever picks it will die. Despite this, Foal courageously plucks the flower. Back at the palace, everyone assumes John has died in the third pot. Saddened, they begin to leave. Suddenly, Foal appears and throws the life and death flower into the pot. Moments later, John emerges alive and transformed into a handsome prince. Seeing this, the greedy king jumps into the first pot, hoping to regain his youth. Instead, he becomes trapped in a bubble and is carried away. The crowd rejoices and crowns John as their new king. Later, John and the princess go to find Foal, fearing he might die from picking the flower. However, the princess assures Foal that the flower was only testing him and he will live. In the final scene, John and the princess get married, and the story ends on a joyous note.
The room feels silent, shadows creeping closer. A whisper echoed, "Subscribe, like, and share, or I'll visit tonight." The screen flickered, the chill undeniable. Don't risk it. Subscribe now.